There we are. Loaded where we left off. So Misama Mia may have hit the nail on the head. I got up from my bed and took a sheet of paper out of my school bag. The career survey. It was just a simple form, but it had me thinking. Maybe it was about time I took a hard look at my future. I wasn't ready to spend my entire life as a manga artist. She was right. I was getting anxious. I couldn't see what was in front of me. No, rather, I didn't want to see. Hey Beatrice! How are you? Today was another truly pleasant day. I wondered if I could capture the sky in one of my chapters. Probably not. My shading tended to be a bit rough because I was always doing everything myself. I wished I had more time. With enough time, I could produce something better than usual. But if that were the case... What the hell? I was suddenly robbed of my sight. No, much worse. Not only were my eyes covered, my nose and mouth were obstructed as well. I couldn't breathe. What kind of question was that? Consciousness fading. My life over in such a... Air! I drew in a sharp breath as Miyamura finally let go of my face. I opened my mouth wide and desperately sucked in the air around me. You've begun dieting as there's no sugar left in stores? Oh man. Oh man. I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, it's good to cut sugar, but it's just... It has such an unpleasant undertone. Yeah. I'm sorry. You little... I glared at my assailant who had an innocent expression. Hey, oddly manifested. How's it going? Whose fault do you think this is? You're damn right it is. I was finally able to think clearly again. Sneaking up on me like that, you trying to kill me? Well, not when you cover his mouth and nose together with his eyes. No, not really. You're supposed to only cover the eyes. So I'm supposed to drop dead for your amusement? Seriously, what the hell was she thinking? I didn't notice it before, but she seemed to be in a very good mood. Of course, I had no idea why. She offered a smile that would charm just about any man. Hi. Huh? That was another line that could bring a man to his knees. However, I wasn't about to fall for it. Sorry. You shouldn't have bothered. I was enjoying my lunchtime long before she came. Whatever. I couldn't stand unusual people like her. However, I must admit that I envied her carefree attitude. They'd never say that about you. And how would you take that as a compliment? People are panic buying everything they can except toilet paper. Pandemic lessons learned. Yeah. I see. Oof. I'm sorry you're going through that. I don't know what else to say. It's way beyond me to offer any sort of practical advice or encouragement because I don't know. I'm just as lost. Yeah. Hopefully, just as in the pandemic, things will calm down eventually. And it's just the panic of the moment that is caused by envisioning a darkness in the future that hopefully does not come to pass.
何でもいいように考えちゃうの。頭が能天気にできてるからね。私。
She laughed as she revealed this startling truth.
本当にいい天気だね。こういう日は授業なんか受ける気しないよね。
Don't you skip regardless of the weather?
確かに私はサボり魔の人だけど不良じゃないよ。本当に。
What's the difference? Well, you don't look like one of them. Do you hate school? It was just a simple question. Was she seriously thinking about it? Three minutes later. Hello?
平野くん、今日のお仕事は？
Just when I thought she was about to answer, she changed the topic. Huh? Why are you bringing that up?
いいから、今日はお仕事詰まってて早く原稿あげないと編集さんに血祭りにあげられるとかだったりする？
You wouldn't be here if that were the case.
じゃあ、行こうか。
She quickly grabbed my hand and headed towards the door. Wait, go where? The blinking really is cute. Yeah, I love it.
ここではないどこか。
The eye movement and the mouth movement while they speak add so much. It's crazy because they're like really tiny things, but I feel like it adds so much to their expressions and personalities. Oh boy, I had a feeling about this before, but now I was positive. This woman was bad news.
次はどこに行こっか。
We're still walking around? 2 hours had passed since she forced me to come along with her. We hit almost every hotspot in the city. My body was about to give up on me.
やっぱり音羽って歩いてるだけでも楽しいじゃん。
I've always lived here, so I've seen it all. You're not from around here?
生まれも育ちも音羽だよ。ただ。
Just what? She thought about something for a moment and shook her head.
私はこの街好きだもん。別に飽きないよ。
It's different, yeah. Ottawa definitely looked European.
知らない人がこの街の風景写真とか見たら、なんで東洋人がこんなにもって思うだろうね。
Asians, huh?
でも、オトワだってもともとは普通の街だったんだよね。
During the war, Ottawa was reduced to rubble. Then there was an earthquake. Just bad luck, I suppose. Before I was born, Ottawa was razed by an earthquake and the resultant fires. I never saw what the city looked like before the disaster. For as long as I could remember, the rejuvenation project had already been completed. That may be why I took this European-looking city for granted.
呪われてるみたいだよね。街の守り神みたいなのっていないのかな？
That's not the issue. Kay's grandfather would endlessly rant about those difficult times. He said our generation barely avoided having to live through such chaos. My older sister was also affected by the disaster. Were there flaws in the infrastructure and emergency plans? I'm not too sure.
だから今までと全然違う街を作ったのかもね。復興計画ではいろいろあったみたいだけど。
Obviously. I bet they rebuilt the city to attract more people.
だろうね。震災の後でオトワを離れちゃった人も多いだろうけど、この街並みに惹かれて引っ越してきた人も多そう。というか、震災前よりオトワの人口って全然増えてるみたいだよ。
All according to plan, huh? Doesn't affect me much. Ottawa's coffers suffered no shortage of cash due to the influx of tourists. The city refused to become a part of history. It reinvented itself after the disaster.
ヒロノ君ってば、やっぱりひねくれてるね。
I'm not. It's got nothing to do with us. In the end, all of this is irrelevant.
ん？
Miyamura looked puzzled.
ヒロノ君はこの町が嫌い？
I don't like it or hate it. As long as I can make a living, that's good enough.
二人で歩いてると景色がいつもと違って見えたりしないかな？
Not one bit. Aww.
うん。
She pouted in dissatisfaction. The city looked exactly the same to me. It wasn't the scenery that was different, it was her walking beside me. There wasn't any deeper meaning.
ところで、さっきから何してるの？
Exactly what it looks like. I waved my cell phone in front of her face. You know, the latest cell phones have cameras built into them. Oh man.
知ってるよ、それくらい。
Miracle of technology. Yes, I did cosplay one of the characters, but not the ones that we see now. I cosplayed the girl with long black hair. What a comeback. Actually, I don't know when they started including them.
だから知ってるって。なんで写真撮ってるのって聞いてるのに。
Oh, I've always wanted to write a manga that takes place in the city. I've been gathering source material for a while. So he can't just relax, he needs it to be for a purpose, right? To be for work somehow. It was a picturesque city after all.
せっかく遊んでるのに、仕事のこととか忘れようよ。
I'm not about to waste my time. This trip needed something worthwhile for myself. I was skipping class at the risk of being held back. Yeah, okay, if you put it in that perspective, I understand. It's not just about work, it's just... He's a bit in a risky situation in school, so if he has to skip at least, make it worth something. Hey, are we taking a break anytime soon?
休憩？
Yeah. Actually, I just wanted to go home already. Yes, I do have some. Let me find some on my DeviantArt. There's also a link to Facebook page somewhere under the stream with some cosplay photos. I haven't posted there in a while because I haven't worked on cosplays in a while, but I want to get back to that. Once things calm down, first of all at work, and then we need to move house at some point, so after that I might get into it. Let's see. Where are you, Yuko? It was my first cosplay. Let's see which photo is nice. This one. There you are. Actually, I just wanted to go home already. Miyamura pondered what I said.
休憩か。
You mean what I work as? I'm a programmer, and I'm doing something very difficult at the moment. Yeah. Today it really broke me in the sense of mental fatigue. So I'm a little bit... but I'll rest well. I've been sleeping really well this week, so that kind of like balances it out, and I'm okay. It's just doesn't really leave me much time for anything else. Oh, thank you, Beatrice. You're cute too. For some reason, she was absorbed in her thoughts once again. Why was she always worried about the strangest things? Miyamura. Oh, thank you. I love that photo too. The photographer was great.
だけどさ、私たちまだ出会ってそんなに日も経ってないし、意外に思うかもしれないけど、そういうのは慎重に行きたい人なんだよね。
I should also have one with the full thing. Yeah, this one. You can see the full costume. Man, I was thin back then, jeez. I am no longer... my waist is not that amazing anymore. But it's still alright. Huh, what are you talking about? I wasn't following her.
だってご休憩したいんでしょ?
Oh, thank you. You're very kind. I do need to work out a bit more before I actually cosplay anything, because I kind of like stopped working out and kind of like let go of things. Yeah, it needs a little bit more work there. But I'm not that far off. Just, yeah. That's not what I meant.
あれ、そうなの？男の子って常時頭の中はそういうことでいっぱいかと思ってた。
Listen, you. What the hell was she going on about? This woman simply loved to surprise people. Do you want to take a break or not? I put on the most serious face I could muster. Of course, I wasn't really serious, but I wanted to see how she would react.
でもこの辺ってラブホとかあったっけ?
Huh? So that was how she was going to play, huh? She peered around cautiously. Plenty around the station, but they all seemed sketchy.
そうなんだ。知らなかったな。
Right. If she had said she'd been to them a few times, that would have been shocking.
でも、ヒロノくんも行ったことないんでしょ? ないんでしょ?
I never went to one myself. Kyosuke was the one who told me about them.
でしょでしょ.
She nodded in satisfaction several times.
急ぐことはないじゃん。まあ、そのうちね。
I had no plans to do something like that anytime soon.
さっきも言ったけど、私結構硬いから。
She smiled sweetly and patted my back. How should I put it? Even if I actually wanted to, she would have responded in this carefree manner anyway.
ところで、分かってくれた?
Huh? Understand what? A sudden tangent.
もちろん、私がどうして学校をサボるかってこと。自分で質問しといて忘れちゃったの?
I did ask, but in this context?
忘れっぽいんだな、ヒロノくんは。まあいいけど、答えを教えてあげる。
I possibly don't want to know.
だってさ。
She ignored my mumbling and continued speaking.
楽しい方がいいじゃん。
Aww, that's... Man, I never would have thought about that if it hadn't been for you, Beatrice, because, I don't know, she's like... I don't... She's so cool. I don't know if I can be that cool, you know? I'll keep that in mind. It would be nice though to craft the costume, because she has such beautifully colorful, nicely patterned, butterfly-esque dresses and kimonos and things. She's awesome. She has all of these outfits that are just delicious to look at. It would be nice to make one. Fun. She brought her face close to my own. Crap. I didn't want to admit it, but she really was an attractive girl.
そう。学校で授業を受けるより、街に出た方が、
Yes,
ヒロ
a
ノ
lot
君
of
と一緒に
choice.
サボった方が面白いと思ったからだよ。別に学校が嫌いなわけじゃないの。退屈が嫌いなだけ。
Aren't those two essentially the same thing? And did she really have to drag me all the way out here to say that?
自分で楽しいと思えることやらなきゃダメだよ。世間とか常識とかに遠慮してたら人生楽しめないじゃん。そうじゃない?
The real issue is that you're not going to school. I had absolutely no right to say that. Suddenly, she gave me a blank look.
あや、顔が赤いけど、もしかして病気?
Just fine. I offered a curt response and turned my head away. Since when did I start blushing? On that note, it was rare for me to be speaking so long with any girl other than Kay.
けどまあヒロノくんがお疲れだっていうのは分かったよ。
You can be as drunk as her? No. I don't really drink much. I have not a very high tolerance to alcohol. I'm fine without it. I have never been drunk, so... a little tipsy, yes, maybe, but nowhere near full, actually drunk. So you finally got the message.
時にヒロノくん、自転車は買った？
What? A new bike? No. With what money?
じゃあ、今から買いに行こう。
Wait a minute. She didn't understand anything, did she? I said I'm tired.
自転車ってどこで売ってるんだっけ？
She's still gonna do what she wants to do. Why wouldn't she listen? Look, I don't have any money on me.
もちろん私が全部出すよ。結構お金持ってるから心配しなくてもいいからね。
She proudly posed. Now that I've thought about it, though you could hardly tell from her uniform, she had quite the chest. Oh, great. I really appreciate a close-up on that remark. Ah, yes. Yes. Aww. A Mokona. You mean Mokona? Yes. They sell plushies of it. I actually have a photo with the Mokona that some other friends used as a prop for their cosplay that was Clamp universe related. Attractive and well endowed. What a rarity.
はあ、視線で侵されてる。
Ah, I quickly averted my eyes from her chest.
うんうん、しょうがないか。男の子だもんね。
No, it's not like that.
まあまあ、私は気にしてないから。それよりも、やっぱり色は赤がいいと思うな。なんか早そうだし。
You're not getting it at all.
ん？
Even though I tried raising my voice, she remained completely unfazed. I don't need a bike.
え？
Not having one isn't going to kill me. I only used it to get to school. I'd also have to walk to the convenience store from now on, but other than that, there were no real issues.
なら、自転車じゃなくて、他のことにお金使おうか。
But I don't understand him right now, because, like, he kind of wanted her to replace his bike. And now she's offering to, and she's like, I have the money, let's go get it. And he's like, actually, it's not that big of a deal. What? Like, I can understand that you're tired and don't want to go now. You can, like, get a rain check for that. But, like, I don't really follow his train of thought here. You sure can switch topics in the blink of an eye.
ヒロノくんがいらないって言うなら、問答しても仕方ないもん。常に前向き前向き。
You'd get hit from behind if you only faced forward.
じゃあ、何しようか。ヒロノくん、どっか行きたいところとか、やりたいこととか。ヒロ先輩!
Ooh. Miyamura's mouth snapped shut before she could finish her sentence. Oh god, not another one. Aww!
こんにちは!
Oh, there she is!
誰?
I love her theme. It's so cute. How should I put it? Someone I know? The girl who had sprinted towards us was Mizuki Hayama. She was 2 years younger than Kei and went to the feeder school, but she belonged to the same basketball team as her. I graduated from the same school. Due to the age difference, I only ever saw her with Kei. Would be nice if I never saw her at all. Oh, that's so mean.
何か言いました?
Nothing.
それにしてもお久しぶりです、ヒロ先輩。
Yeah, you too. I tried to avoid her whenever I could. I didn't hate her, but her bark was more annoying than that dog the other day.
私は今日は買い出しに来たんですけど。
It feels so sad because I really like her and I have to read these like awful lines about her. Hiro, you baka. Shopping?
もちろん、少女漫画の補給ですよ。
Mizuki was a shoujo manga addict. Everything else preserves? What do you mean? Wait, which one? Oh, thank you. Yeah, the character is Kuroyuki Hime from Axel World. Yeah, unfortunately it was kind of windy, and so the wind, I didn't realize when the photo was taken, the wind kind of bent the wire in my wings, and so they're a little bit it was really windy that day. But yeah, thank you so much. I worked really hard on that, and putting together the wings was a bit of a joint co-op with my dad. He helped me like form the wire properly and stuff, because I didn't have the strength in my hands to like do it. He did it very neatly, and we glued it all together, and yeah, nice memories. Nice memories. Oh man, and the thing on the head, it really destroyed my fingers when I made it. Jesus Christ. Oh, but it looks good, so I'm happy. It turned out really good. Oh. Her rabid thirst for my work surpassed even Kay's, but I never bothered sharing my secret with her. If I did, I could only fear what would happen. Dude, she appreciates your work and you're this mean to her. Oh, my heart. Worst case scenario, she'd become a stalker.
Hiro senpaiは何してるんです?
Just killing some time.
わざわざ潰さないといけないほど暇があって羨ましいですね。ところでヒロ先輩、こちらの方はどなたですか?
As if something were amiss, she turned her head in Miyamura's direction with a sweet smile on her face. Oh, this is my schoolmate, Miyamura. What was your first name again? Oh my god, I forgot her name.
ヒロノくん、今この瞬間から私をミヤコと呼ぶように命じます。
Say what?
ヒロ先輩
Mizuki grabbed my arm and took me aside. Hey.
言われた通りにした方がいいですよ。あちらの人怒ってるみたいですから。
Mad? I shot a quick glance over at Miyamura. Her expression was stern, but was she angry?
人の感情なんて必ずしも表に出るものじゃないんですよ。
I didn't need her to tell me that.
考えてもみてくださいよ。名前忘れられたら大抵の人は怒ります。
I don't care if they do.
それはヒロ先輩はかなりアレな人ですから。
I wondered what she meant by that. Besides, Miyamura didn't seem like a girl who could care about minor details. Miyamura? I guess I was incorrect.
ほらほら、私の言った通りでしょ?
Mizuki, on the other hand, was beaming. Calling a longtime friend like Kei by her first name was one thing, but treating a girl in the same year that was that way made me a bit uncomfortable.
あっさり名前を忘れられて、私の心は傷だらけになってしまいました。もう自分が何をするかわかりません。
Miyamura was grumbling to herself. Hayama, you think this is a threat? I whispered to her so that Miyamura couldn't hear.
だいたい彼女を名字で呼んでることがおかしいんですよ。ヒロ先輩も照
Oh,
れ
she
屋なんだから。
misinterpreted the situation. Okay, I get it. Wait, she's not my girlfriend.
そうなんですか?
Her voice became deafeningly shrill. I love Mizuki's uniform, by the way. It has such nice little details on it. I love it, like on the sleeves and on the collar. Super cute. It really isn't like that. Well, she's not even there anymore.
あれれ、ヒロ先輩に彼女ができたなら、これでケイ先輩は私のものだと思ってたのに。
Oh, I love it. She had an unnatural attraction to Kei, because she seriously had been gunning for her. But whether or not I had a girlfriend had nothing to do with Kei.
それじゃあ話が違いますよ。がっかりです。
Why do all the women around me act this way?
周りに女の子がいるだけで幸せじゃないですか。私のいとこなんて友達すらいませんよ。
Oh. I agreed that being alone wasn't healthy. Still, I hoped she was talking about a different kind of happiness than what I had in mind. By the way, while we were talking...
Hi?
Hayama's expression was blank. Miyamura disappeared. Yeah, she's been gone for a while.
本当だ。いませんね。ヒロ先輩振られちゃったんじゃないですか？
I told you, she's not my girlfriend.
でも、だからといって私に乗り換えようとかダメですよ。私はケイ先輩オンリーですから。
Dream on, what's with you and these wild allegations? I let out a small sigh. Well, I'll just let this oddball go. Really, what happened to Miyamura? I had no idea what was going on in her mind. 小さくつぶやいて足元の小石を蹴飛ばす。せっかく疲れてるみたいだから気晴らしに連れ出してあげたのに。Good morning. How you doing? つまらなそうな顔してたな。なんだろう。要するに私がつまんないやつってこと？それが事実だと由々しき問題だよね。何が足りないんだろう。まあ、平野くんがおかしい可能性もあるけど。そうだ、なんだかんだ言っても平野くんが悪い。私は結構楽しかったもん。歩き慣れた街も Definitely his fault. いつもとどこか違って見えた。I feel like she's kind of also in the wrong somehow because she made some assumptions and came to some conclusions in her head, but never really bothered to like get on the same wavelength with him and just like pushed everything onto him. Yeah, and she had good intentions. I'm not saying no, but they're different people, different personalities, and they see and interpret things differently. So what she thought was fun and nice and helping him, you know, relax and take his mind off things was actually a bit of a cumbersome for him. So yeah, there's a little bit of a miscommunication there. もっと楽しいことがこの先もあるような予感すらあって。なのにさ、無視されるのって嫌いなんだよね。それならまだ悪口言われる方がよっぽどマシ。広野くんはひどいやつだ。しかも私の名前も忘れてたし。It happens, literally. Like, okay, I don't want to give a percentage because I don't actually know the percentage, but who here remembers people's names immediately, right? Especially if it's just like custom to not call people by their first name and then, you know, you refer to them by their last name and, you know, at some point you realize, oh, actually I completely blank out on her first name and I don't remember. I don't think it's anything personal. 私みたいな女でも名前忘れられるのはやっぱり寂しいんだよ、広野くん。But I guess that's just Miyako, a bit dramatic. I will now refer to Nezumi as So tired. I watched Kei dart around the court. The time was 7 a.m. It was too early for me to be at school. It was too early for me to even be out of bed. Sure, Kei sure was agile. Her feet hadn't paused for a moment since she stepped onto the court. She wasn't slowing down while dribbling. Every one of her shots went through the hoop. Fatigue hadn't set in even as sweat was rolling down her body. Where does she get all this energy from? The Mighty Mouse had become a starter for the basketball team. Life certainly flew by. However, there were more important things to worry about. Ah, my yawn forced its way through the gymnasium.
ちょっとお兄ちゃん?
Kei walked over to me with the ball cradled in her arm. What are you so mad about?
人の練習見ながらあくびなんかしないでよ。失礼でしょ?
How is that rude? She was the one who dragged me out here. What did she expect? The team didn't have a scheduled practice, so Kei was training on her own.
ぼーっとしてないで何かやったら?
Amen, project. Squid feels it. Also, I'm yawning too, but not because it's morning, just because it's almost the end of the day. Like what? So we can, like, you know, be a trio of yawners. I wasn't going to help her with the drill.
そういえば最近スケッチとかしてないわね。
I don't feel like drawing anything outside of work.
どうかしたの？
2 a.m. is the time to be awake, not 7 a.m. Well, I did wake up at 7:30 this morning, so... I clasped my hands in front of my chest and stretched my forearms. Nah, there just isn't anything interesting.
まあいいけどね。せめてその寝ぼけ顔だけはなんとかしなさいよ。
A dunk would get me up on my feet.
できるわけないでしょ、そんなの。
4:11, right? When will you hit your growth spurt?
へえ。そんなに無言の帰宅がしたいの。
Ouch. Kidding. A wise man should never mention a woman's physical deficiencies.
いいのよ、私は。ボール運びとパスが仕事の地味なポジションなんだから。
Being the floor general was fitting. I couldn't think of a more suitable role for her. Her aggressive personality probably manifested itself on the court.
だいたいお兄ちゃんは気合が足りないわよ。せめて外ではシャンとしなさい、シャンと。
She was definitely a jock. Jocks always let their blood boil, believing that all things could be solved with adrenaline. Yes, my jocks on my Animal Crossing island would concur. Give me a break, I was up all night. I had to revisit over 100 pages of storyboards in order to draw 31 pages of manga. It was neither quick nor effortless. Then I needed to revise some sections I already completed. I had to learn how to use my time more efficiently, sooner or else. My biological clock isn't the same as yours.
人間は夜寝て朝起きるもんでしょ。漫画家って人の道を外れた生き物よね。
I don't know. There are different kind of schedules that work for different kind of people, and forcing everyone onto the same mold is only detrimental in the long run. Like, people should have the kind of schedules that help them thrive. It's fine. I've never seen someone so wrong. I'll fight you, Kay. Yeah, as I said, I don't particularly agree with her either. Don't treat us like we're not human, dumbass.
女の子に向かってやろうなんて言うんじゃねえよ。
Oh, really? Is that the kind of language a girl should use?
お兄ちゃんの前以外では使わないからいいんだよ。
That's not the point. Why were we arguing over something so pointless? Whatever, you said there was something you wanted to discuss? That was the reason I was dragged all the way out here.
ああ、そうだったわ。ついここに来ると練習に夢中になっちゃって。
Sports freak. K-root incoming. I mean, I think the next part, like the first part of the story is about Miyako and the next part is about her, so...
神聖なコートを血で染めるのは気が進まないんだけど、仕方ないかしら。
Wait, I didn't say anything. It's good to give it your all during practice. She would have never become a starter without that enthusiasm. Most players in their first year came off the bench.
分かってるならいいわ。それで。
She cleared her throat.
お兄ちゃん、昨日午後の授業サボったでしょ。
And what evidence do you have that would justify this accusation? I may as well play dumb for the time being. You have no proof. Yeah. You and the protagonist are like on the same wavelength, Squid.
昨日の放課後、借りてたお昼代を返そうと思って。そしたらなんとかっていう先輩？名前忘れちゃったけど、あの軽そうな人がヒロノなら昼休みに行方をくらましたって教えてくれたわ。
Kyosuke? You just couldn't keep your mouth shut, could you?
どうやらお兄ちゃんはまだ自分の状況を分かってないみたいね。
I sensed murder. Whoops.
あれだけサボるなって言ったのに、どうして私の言うことが聞けないの？
Christ, was she my mother? Alright, it's my fault. I'm sorry. Well, she was worried about me.
口では何とでも言えるわ。
I gave you my word. Do you want me to swear to God?
お兄ちゃんの誓いなんて信じられるわけないでしょ。ある意味私にとってお兄ちゃんは世界で一番信頼できない人間だわ。
Ouch, ouch, ouch. Anything else?
知ってるわよ。あの宮村先輩と一緒だったんでしょ。
Wow, she really did her homework. Oh, you're so cute, Beatrice. Thank you so much. Aw, I do think that maybe I did manage to capture her a bit more on my stage performance. Like I got that kind of feedback from some friends in the audience. She was like, "Oh yeah, you're a little, like that bit of a feistiness there." Yeah. Must embrace the tsundere expression. You mean K or what Beatrice is saying? Sorry, I'm a little bit confused. Oh, so you're stalking me now. Why don't you just come clean?
そんなわけないでしょ。水木に聞いたのよ。商店街で会ったんでしょ。
I mean, they're both kind of tsundere. Yeah, Rina's tsundere too. But she has her own kind of sweetness. It's just, yeah. I might not embody the whole of her tsundere. Unique blend of your dirt but ugly. Oh man, I can just hear her in my head. Like this emote, yeah. we recently rewatched, or like Madcast watched and I rewatched Unlimited Blade Works, and after that we went on to watch the Heaven's Feel movies, which I also had not seen. And so I have like a very present version of Rin in my head. She's very fresh. Yeah, I know what you mean. Unlimited budget work. That's so good, yes. Yes, it was very good. Very, very good. I loved it. And I loved rewatching it. First time I watched it and I felt like I wanted to cosplay Rin was when it actually aired. So I watched it week by week, and then the break in the winter, and then week by week again, you know. I had to suffer through the break. Which I did for Fate Zero as well. I watched that airing as well. The memories. Man, it would be cool if one day we could do Fate on stream, but that's not possible. It makes me very sad every time I think about it, so let's not think about it. Let's think about all the other visual novels that we can do. Now that you mention it, everyone around me was such a gossip. Actually, Mizuki was more of a blabbermouth than the average person.
私、宮村先輩には関わらない方がいいって言ったわよね。ほら、やっぱり困った人じゃない。事情も分かってないくせにお兄ちゃんを連れ出して。
You really shouldn't criticize people you don't know. Kay blushed and her expression clouded over. What a simpleton. She couldn't talk back whenever reason stared her in the face.
ごめん。
You don't need to say sorry. Look, I know she isn't a good girl by any means.
お兄ちゃんは宮村先輩のことよく知ってるの？
Alright. I definitely need to get there at some point. Yeah. I kind of I read the Fate route and I kind of tapered off somewhere halfway in the Unlimited Blade Works route, so I would have to pick it up there and finish that and then get to Heaven's Feel. But I think I got the gist of it from the movies, and yeah, it's really dark, but it has a bit of a hopeful undertone too, so I enjoyed it. Also, like, Rina's a little bit different. We see like kind of like different aspects of her there too, so I enjoyed that. I got to see a bit more of my favorite character in the series. Huh? No, we only met on Christmas Eve. It wasn't even a month since then. Sorry, it hasn't even been a month since then.
クリスマス
Oh shit. Yeah. That was exactly what I was about to say. And then it was the character's line. Oh, no, no, no.
私との約束すっぽかして宮村先輩と会ってたの？
Oh god. No, no, there were some extenuating circumstances. There was also this other girl, Yuko Amamiya.
お兄ちゃん、怒らないから言ってみて。
Tell you what.
何人彼女がいるのよ。
Kay was seething. Don't say you're not gonna get angry and then the very next line you say is angry. I don't even have one. Who did she think I was, Kyosuke? Besides, my current life was killing me. I didn't have time for a girlfriend.
なら雨宮優子って誰なのよ。なんで宮村先輩に加えて新キャラまで登場してんのよ。なんで女ばっかりなのよ。
She was becoming hysterical. You think I know?
雨宮って誰よ。何者なのよ。年齢、住所、職業、経歴、前科の有無は？
Just when did she turn into a private investigator? All of this shouldn't have been that big of a deal. What was she again? Yeah, a maid, I think? Something didn't quite add up.
メイド？変なゲームのやりすぎじゃないの？お兄ちゃん。
I think that was what she said. I didn't have much time to play video games either. There's nothing going on, really. We didn't have anything in common, and she said she was older than me.
お兄ちゃんって年上好みだったの？
Are you listening to the man, though? I do understand that he's explaining things in a really bad way. And I understand how they're coming off, but like, how can you draw that conclusion just from what he said when he actually said that he has no interest in her? Are you even listening to me? Yeah. What I said simply went through one of her ears and out the other.
も
She slammed the basketball into the
う
ground.
もういい。あんたなんか死ねばいいのよ。
You'd still cry. I muttered under my breath. Kay's face was flushed. I had no idea if it would ever return to its original color.
泣くわけないでしょ。バカ！
My ears. That moron turned into a banshee before my very eyes. School was over, but the ringing in my ears hadn't ceased. What was I going to do if I couldn't hear anything for the rest of my life? I tapped my ears as I was walking home. Oh. The person ahead of me. Miyamura. She turned and glared at me, but made no attempt to respond. The uncomfortable silence continued for a few moments. Damn, I had the feeling I was going to break down if this went on any longer. Miyako-san?
さんをつけるのもなし。今度からさんつけても返事しないからね。覚えておくように。
She finally opened her mouth. But where did that ultimatum come from?
ああ、そうだ。昨日は黙って帰っちゃってごめんね。
Well, well, I didn't think she would have apologized. It's alright. Why did you suddenly vanish?
帰りたくなったから帰ったんだよ。
That was a simple excuse.
でさ、どうしよっか。今日も遊びに行く？途中で帰っちゃったお詫びに今度こそ私がおごるよ。
What are you saying all of a sudden? Miyamura, I mean...
うん？
Miyako seemed to be confused.
遊ばないの？
I can't just play around every day. I have work to do.
そういえば、ヒロノくんって漫画家さんだっけ？忘れてたよ。
Please keep that in mind. She must have thought that my double life wasn't unusual.
お仕事忙しいの？
I'll be in trouble if I don't clean up at least half of my current draft. It's been taking longer for me to finish lately. I was beginning to get anxious just thinking about it. It would be a different story if I were a top professional, but I didn't want to consider what would happen if a novice like me missed the deadlines.
そっか、大変なんだね。
So you understand?
行こっか。
Where?
ヒロノくんのお家に決まってるじゃん。漫画家さんの仕事場って一回見てみたいし。
I'm not a museum exhibit, hey! She was already walking way ahead of me. Wait up, it's this way, not that way. Miyako scampered back to my side.
ごめんごめん。つい先走っちゃった。それでは改めて。
Damn. I should have just let her go. What the hell was I doing? Ah, Hiro. Something deep in your subconscious did want her to come by. I'm sure that. She really did follow me home like a lost puppy. When I mentioned that I lived alone, she didn't act surprised and simply stepped inside.
中は意外と普通の若者風だね。
I really like the little doormat. It's so cute. I think it's like this wherever you go. Though Ottawa's buildings were European on the outside, the interior design was typical modern Japanese. It was more convenient that way. One couldn't just waltz in with their outdoor shoes still on.
あ、お茶とかは出さなくていいからね。気を使われるの好きじゃないから。
I don't have enough leaves anyway. She had better not be planning to move in with me. Shouldn't you be acting a bit more cautious?
なんで？
She looked at me, confused. Bachelor pad, semi-stranger. Normally someone would keep their guard up.
とうとう私も処女喪失か。よもや今日がその日になるとは思わなかったね。
Always an entertaining response from her. I was kidding. Still, you shouldn't act this way around everyone.
わかってるもん。私は。
Huh? She flashed me a gullible smile.
平野くんはね、私に優しくしてくれる人なんだよ。
No, you're just too optimistic.
その切り返しはどうかと思うな。
Her face was beaming even as she complained. You don't really get to know people without talking to them first.
わかるよ。
I like this shot. She's so cute with the sunlight illuminating her on the side. It's nice. She replied immediately.
私はその人が何を考えてるのか、どういう人なのかわかるんだもん。
Just how do you know? In that instant, I noticed. Her face was covered with a cloud of gloom, the likes of which I had never seen before.
自慢じゃないけど、私は人を見る目はあるよ。だって、私はずっと人の顔色ばかり伺って生きてきたから。
Her tone was subdued. Huh.
ねえねえ、ここの家賃とかって自分で出してるの？
Miyako's voice and expression brightened, as though nothing had happened. I still didn't understand her at all. Her frequent mood swings weren't normal, and her actions were wildly unpredictable.
このお部屋、結構広いし、高いんじゃないの？
The landlord and I, we go way back. If you thought about it, having a normal conversation with her was difficult. Thankfully, I pay below market value for the place. Mr. Shindo had taken a strange liking to this young, self-sufficient fellow. The novel is so beautifully drawn. Yes, I love it. I didn't know how it would be, but I'm happy with what I found, because the anime was also kind of, it had interesting graphics and a lot of like symbolic, artistic choices. It blew my mind from that point of view, and it was also just packed to the brim with metaphors and just compelling stories and deep, I guess, human analysis in different kinds of situations through the stories of each character. I love it. I love it. I'm happy to be here experiencing it with you. So Miyako's eyes wandered around curiously. You won't find anything interesting here.
そうだね。
I kind of want to get to work.
どうぞどうぞ。私のことは気にせずに。
Even with her cheerfulness, I'd be in trouble if I let her watch. Excuse me, but I have an NDA regarding unpublished material.
男の子なら細かいこと気にするのやめよ
It's actually rather serious. This girl needed to learn how to listen to people.
けど私ぶっちゃけた話原稿の内容には興味ないんだけどね。
I figured as much. If she were a rabid fangirl like Kei or her friend Hayama, she would have bombarded me with questions by now. You really don't read any manga?
小説ならたまーに読むけど基本はゲームだもん私は。やっぱり娯楽はインタラクティブじゃないと面白くないね。
I don't think manga is that straightforward.
ならヒロノくんが書いた漫画貸して。雑誌に載ったやつとかあるんでしょ？
I do, but I don't know.
それを貸してくれたら速攻で帰ってあげるよ。
She grinned. Didn't I have the right to kick her out regardless of what she said? I rose to my feet and took out an oversized envelope from my bookshelf. Here are 2 short stories. I judged these before being serialized. They were never reprinted, so these are the copies of the originals. That okay?
上等。それじゃあ借りてくね。
I didn't want anyone I knew to read this, but it was a small price to pay to get rid of her. So mean. The song, yes. The soothing sound of Shuichi Kuze's music filled the room. This somber but brilliant piece was one that truly gave me the energy to work. All that could be heard was the violin and the sound of graphite against paper. I was completely relaxed. My hand appeared to be moving much more smoothly than usual. If I continued at this pace, I'd have no trouble meeting the deadline. I would just keep this up until morning. And there she is. Whoa! A sudden noise.
ヒロノくん、ヒロノくん。
Miyako stood in the open doorway. How did you... Oh, I forgot to lock the door. At least ring the doorbell.
そんなことより漫画他にヒロノくんが書いた漫画あるの？
I wanted to lecture her about her sudden intrusion, but she wouldn't have listened anyway. I've got 3 more short stories, and then there's my serial.
それ貸して今すぐに。
You ran all the way out here just for that?
うんうん。
Was the first one interesting? First and foremost, I was an author. I was compelled to ask.
うんうん。お話自体はベタベタの恋愛劇で特に面白くはないんだけど。
Mr. Omura called my stories corny all the time, so did my readers. However, it felt worse to have someone tell me that to my face.
でもね、なんていうのか、一コマ一コマのつながりとか、風景の奥行きとかすっごく不思議。あと、女の子の表情とかポーズとかが固まってないというか、本当に動きの途中って感じっていうか、うまく言えないけど。
Don't worry, I fully understand. I didn't care if the story was trite or cliché. I just wanted to render everyday situations using meticulously planned art. That was Nagi Shindo's ultimate goal, and Miyako's reaction confirmed that this goal was achieved. But I would have felt better if she hadn't said the story sucked. Aww.
ヒロノくん。
Aww. Yes. I replied as I took out some more work from the shelf.
ヒロノくんはすごいよ。やっぱうまく言えないけど面白い。それだけは確かだよ。
Was that flattery? Was she just humoring me? I couldn't detect any hesitation in her praise.
ねえねえ、今連載してるのってどんな話？
What do you want to know?
やっぱり一番新しいのが一番面白そうじゃん。
Well, I wouldn't have wanted her to say that my older work was superior. In a nutshell, it's a typical school romance. The main character is a girl who's a bit on the cute side, but otherwise rather average.
うんうん。
The girl often goes to school with a pair of honor students, a guy and a girl who have known each other since they were kids.
つまり幼馴染の男女3人の三角関係もの？
Pretty much. Basically, everyone around her is an oddball, so she often gets caught up in their weird antics. And she's also a bit weird herself. She blocks all of the unpleasant things in life. Even when she gets in trouble, she brushes it aside, smiles, and well, he's kind of describing her.
どうかしたの？
I cut myself off. Well, it was a bit awkward explaining the whole thing. Just read everything I've given you. It's the fastest way to find out.
せっかくここまで行ったのに、もっと作者さんの口から聞きたいな。
Miyako leaned her face closer to mine. An innocent smile formed on her beautiful face. I could feel the warmth of her breath.
ダメなの？
No. I wanted her to back away, but at the same time, I didn't. Shit, why did she have to be so damn hot? I wanted to push her down right then and there. Ooh, okay.
どうかした？
Nah, it's nothing. Did I even have the balls to do something like that?
何よ何よ、気になるな。
You just can't zip it, can you?
私が黙るのは寝てる時と食べてる時。あともう一つあると思うけど、そのシチュエーションはまだ未経験なんだよね。
And what would that be?
質問したのは私が先だったよね。答えてくれたら教えてあげる。
Never mind, I don't care.
素直じゃないな。
Quiet, you. Come to think of it. It wasn't really groundbreaking or anything, but that was the first time I let a girl other than Kay into my room. An onslaught of cryptic formulas and equations laid in front of my eyes. Ooh, I want to read the first one. A and B are positive values that fulfill the condition A plus B equals 1. Think of the sum S of the two areas enclosed by the curves. Oh wow, okay, that's complicated. Find the minimum of S. Interesting. Yeah, that's... I wouldn't know how to solve that immediately. Interesting stuff. And some geometry on the right-hand side. No math. Okay, hey Clinton. My pencil ceased all movement after circling the final answer in the multiple choice portion of the assignment. I hardly ever touched my textbook. Naturally, I had no way of knowing how to solve the remaining problems. Even if I had learned how to solve them, what purpose would that knowledge serve? Such prevailing sentiments were better left unsaid. Given the situation, my only option was to abandon this struggle and try to get some sleep. The teachers had no right to point a finger at me if I couldn't even attempt them. That's what I think. What about you?
どうよって言われてもな。
Kyosuke gave an apathetic answer. Teachers are supposed to make the material understandable. If they can't even do that, shouldn't I be the angry one?
人はそれをヘリクスとか逆ギレとか言うんじゃないの？
He wasn't interested in continuing the conversation.
何にしたってそのプリント終わらせないと帰れないんだろ。つまんないこと考えてないで手を動かせば。
Damn it. I had the worst luck. I fell asleep during a class taught by Mr. Kurano, the math teacher from hell. As punishment, I had to complete a redemption assignment. It was specifically designed to make suicide seem like an attractive alternative. I don't have time for that.
まあ頑張れよ。
Can't you at least help me out a little? Though he looked stupid, Kyosuke had remarkably good grades. It felt like a cosmic joke. How can someone look stupid? He doesn't look stupid. He could solve problems like these in the blink of an eye. However, he shook his head.
お前にはお前の、俺には俺のなすべきことがある。
I'll bet. Come on, what's the real reason?
女の子ならともかく、男の手助けしたって俺にメリットはない。
Yeah, I get it. I was a moron for spending 1 second asking him for help. So, what are you doing? I thought he was hanging around for my sake, but he said he had his own agenda.
ああ、これ？
He lifted up his notepad. The hell is that?
絵コンテだよ。
You're kidding, right? I noticed several crude sketches on the left side of the page. The rest of it was illegible. Your drawings are terrible, pathetic.
完全無欠の人間なんていないんだ
They
よ。
don't have to be great, it's a storyboard. He had his angry face on. What a rare sight. I managed to push one of his buttons.
そりゃサラブレッドのお前に比べりゃ下手くそだろうけど、映画のコンテなんて何を撮ればいいかさえ分かれば。
Mr. Purebred artist, good one.
おっと、
Kyosuke suddenly shut his mouth.
余計なこと言ったかな。
Nah, don't worry about it. It wasn't anything he needed to concern himself with. I, for one, didn't care about the lineage of my family. Anyway, what's it for?
英検で3年の追い出しやるんだけど、その時に上映するショートフィルムのコンテだよ。
Kyosuke was a member of the film club. Though I knew him for quite a while, I kept forgetting about it. He mentioned something about winning an award last fall, but he never struck me as the type to take his hobbies seriously. Do you really have to draw something like that for a movie? I thought camera angles were determined on the spot, then all the excess was left on the cutting room floor.
プロでも描かない人も多いけどね。俺はコンテ切ってる時に同時に編集してるんだよ。短いもんだからこそ現場に入る前にきちんとポイントを絞っておかないといけないし。
Oh, so you're the director.
当たり前だよ。俺以外に監督できる人間いないもん。今の英検は。
Whoa, mental overload. This womanizer was actually directing a film?
ところで、いきなり話は変わるんだけど、
Yeah?
お前さ、D 組の宮村と付き合ってんの？
Kyosuke gave me a blank look. No, where the hell did that come from?
部活やってる人間にはいろんな情報が入ってくるんだよ。本当かどうかもわかんないようなことまで。
I never figured you were one to take an interest in others' love lives. He shook his head.
何言ってんの？お前は他人じゃなくて友達だろ。
He said that like it was nothing. Kyosuke, have you no shame?
はっはっは。
He was hiding behind his idiotic grin.
うーし、こんなもんか。
Kyosuke seemed to have finished his work. As for me, I hadn't made any progress at all.
俺はミーティングあるから部室行くけどさ。
Fine by me. Get lost.
けどさ、ヒロノ。あんまりかわいそうなことすんなよ。
I was caught off guard for a moment. The hell do you mean by that? Oh man, sorry. What was he talking about? I seriously had no idea.
自分で気づかなきゃダメだからな。言わない。
Why you...
じゃあなー。ああ、そうだ。
Kyosuke hunched over my desk. Then he grabbed my pencil and looked down at my worksheet.
なんだ、こんな程度か。ヒロノは本当にバカなんだな。
Hey. Kyosuke ignored me and began scribbling. In under 5 minutes, he completed the questions that had been stumping my brain for the past half hour. Then...
これで、一つ貸しだな。
He smirked and left the room. After placing the completed assignment on Mr. Kurano's desk, I was finally free. Sure is cold out here. I was greeted by a sharp breeze. Ottawa wasn't as cold as other parts of the country, but the evening chill was still harsh. Time to go. Wait a minute. Kyosuke's warning came to mind. Don't do anything I'll regret. What? Was he talking about Miyako? Or was it me? Well, he had a point. I was pretty pathetic. I barely kept up with my work and I was failing school. My situation was terrible, but it was exactly what I deserved.
ヒロノ先輩。
Yo, practice? Kay in her tracksuit nodded.
先輩は居残りでもさせられてたの？
You trying to pick a fight with me? I didn't belong in any club, so it was easy for Kay to figure out why I was still here.
いきなり喧嘩腰にならないでよ。
Okay, what's up?
海岸までの往復ランニングだったんだけど、みんな遅いから置いてきちゃったわ。
Kay hadn't broke a sweat. She could outrun everyone even though she was only in her first year. As always, her only redeeming quality was her athletic prowess.
私は一番走らなくちゃいけないポジションだから、このくらい速くなくちゃ話にならないんだけどね。
Like a bull.
なんだとこの野郎。
Don't say that to a girl, man. Great, she lost her temper again. Nothing, I'll be back in my hole doing my boring job.
ん？
Kay was staring at me. Checking me out?
違うわよ。なんで今さらあんたに見とれなきゃいけないの？
Whoa, calm down. Kay needed to lighten up. Jokes like that flew right over her head.
そうじゃなくて。
Just calm down, you've been jumping the gun a lot lately.
浮き足だってなんか。
She shook her head repeatedly.
お兄ちゃん
She simmered down all of a
ヒ
sudden.
ロお兄ちゃんよね。
Well, who else was I supposed to be? Your brain working all right? If you're senile, I'm not taking care of you.
どうしてあんたはそういうことを。
Well, why are you asking him if he's himself? That's equally confusing. What?
そんなの私だって分かってないわよ。
Come on, no need to get upset. I'm out of here.
先輩が
Hmm? My front leg came to a halt.
先輩がだんだん違う人に変わっちゃうみたいな。そんな気がしてしょうがないの。
I couldn't believe what I just heard. Kay said something I would have never imagined. When I returned home, I discovered an intruder. What are you doing in my apartment?
うーん
Miyako seemed to have fallen asleep. The trail of drool leaking from the corner of her mouth served as irrefutable evidence.
おかえり。
How did she have such a bright and cheerful voice the moment she woke up? Also, how do you not lock your house, man? Uh-huh, how'd you get in? Miyako had been coming to my place as if she were acting on impulse. However, this was the first time she entered while I wasn't around.
合鍵を植木鉢の下に隠すのはやめた方がいいよ。簡単に見つかっちゃうからね。
Why would people do
ヒロノ君は
that?
大雑把すぎるよ。
Don't do that. Take the key with you. I'm sure you're aware of the expression c'est la vie.
私はバカだから、そういう難しい言葉はわかんないな。
Alright, whatever. Could you at least not go through all my stuff? Various books and folders were scattered on the floor around her.
暇つぶしに読んでただけ。ヒロノ君の原稿全部読んじゃったんだもん。他に読むものがなくて。エロい本もソフトなやつしかないし。
Oh, you seem to have found quite a bit. I hadn't really made any attempt to conceal my stash.
もっとすごいのが出てくるかと思って期待したのに。数も少ないね。男の子ってこういうものなの？それとも、もしかしてヒロノ君って不能？
Really, shut up already.
怖ー。
She pretended to be frightened. Seriously, those are just art references. That was a justification even Kate couldn't complain about. They weren't too useful though. Too many unnatural poses.
ふーん。割ともっともらしく聞こえるね。
I knew you wouldn't believe me.
さあ、どうでしょう。それは私のみぞ知る。
I'm surprised I don't remember the story very well. I don't know, it's kind of like explored in the beginning of the first season. Although I think the story like is shown in parallel with other stories and like kind of like drags on through the whole season. I think. I don't remember exactly in which order they were. But to be honest, their story didn't really impact me that much. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it at all, it's just the others left more of a mark and I remember them better as well. I also don't have that many details left in my memory about them. I do remember bits and pieces, and that's also alright, you know, because I'm rediscovering it now and re-experiencing it. But yeah, Chihiro's story and Yuko's story are the most pregnant in my mind. Also Mizuki's as well, although not as much as the other two. And then I guess theirs is kind of like in the bottom. Sorry about that. But you know, it's at the bottom of a very awesome list of things, so it's still good. It's just the others I connected more with them. That's all. Are you retarded? She flashed an evil grin and held up a scrapbook.
でもさ、新聞とか雑誌の記事とかスクラップしてるんだね。さすが漫画家さん。ネタをストックしてるんだ。
No, that's just a hobby. Ever since I was a kid, I've been collecting interesting articles.
嫌な子供だね。
I suppose. I stopped playing her demented game of verbal ping pong and set my bag on the floor. It was time to change out of my uniform, but I couldn't very well do that in front of her. Why aren't you wearing your school uniform?
私、今日学校行ってないもん。
I didn't ask why. I knew she would say that she didn't go because she didn't want to go. You think life's a big joke, don't you?
ヒロノくんは重く考えすぎだよ。
She's cute though. I love the outfit and I love the orange with the green little tie. It works great. And the frilly, lacy thing at the ends of her sleeves and her skirt. Man, they make really, really stylish clothes in this in this story. I love it. Very baggy. No, it's just that the sleeves kind of like open up as they go towards the hand. I personally really like that style. I think it's quite fancy. Yes, cute. It's like the sleeves are not straight and also like not becoming thinner as you're approaching the I was about to say waist. No, what's this called? Oh my god. English at the wrist, yeah, as you're approaching the wrist. And these are just like opening up as they're approaching the wrist. Yes, I was like waist and then ankle and then wrist. Yeah, that's how my mind operates, like this. This might as well be a school uniform too. Yes, right? It's pretty stylish. I'm digging it. She suddenly stood up.
ヒロノくんも帰ってきたことだし、始めようかな。
Say what? I felt that sinking feeling again. Without knowing what was going on inside that head of hers, I could do nothing but fear the worst. Was she going to take me out on a grand tour of Ottawa again?
今日は遊びに来ただけじゃないんだよ。ご飯作ってあげようかと思って。ヒロノくん、毎日犬の餌みたいなものばっかり食べてるんでしょ？
Get out now.
なんで？
Miyako stood there stupefied by the tone of my voice. I swore that I would never eat a woman's cooking again for as long as I lived. Miyako may have made the suggestion on a whim, but I refused to break that oath.
それは何故に？
Which is so sad. One springtime, many years ago.
おお、ヒロノくんが語りモードに入った。
I hadn't planned the daily routine after recently being hired. I didn't even have the time to go to the supermarket. That night, an innocent-looking devil appeared before me. I didn't bother telling Miyako who that person was. Well, we know who it was. She said to me,
お兄ちゃん、このところ目に見えて痩せてきてるわね。仕方ないから、私が食事作ってあげるわ。
うんうん、それで？
Dramatization. A banquet was laid before me, and it looked to be exquisite. However, appearances can be deceiving. If it hadn't looked the way it did. The mere thought of that meal gave me chills even now.
ヒロノくんの手足が生まれたての子馬みたいに震えてる。
I had this weird chest pain for the next few days. Well, not really weird, but I still lost weight. Yeah, this was no laughing matter. My work was nowhere near complete, and I was about to have another near-death experience.
けど大丈夫だよ。口に合うかどうかはわかんないけど、食べられるものはできると思うよ。ものすごく私を信用してないっていうのはものすごくよくわかるよ。
Of course, how could I not be skeptical of someone who spoke in such a ridiculous manner?
大丈夫だってば。それに
Miyako clasped her hands together, her eyes gleaming, and smiled.
それに作っちゃえばヒロノくんは絶対食べると思うし、結構お人よしだもんね。
Allow me to skip to the aftermath. Miyako's cooking was beyond good. Vegetable fried rice, miso soup with radish and fried tofu. Oh my god, it sounds amazing. broiled and salted mackerel, chicken okara stir fry, and last but not least, a salad with tofu, onions, and daikon sprouts. The sight of them made my mouth water, and the taste was unbelievable. As frustrating as it was to admit, her cooking could not be described as anything short of superb. Damn, I can't let her get too carried away. A tsundere chef, a girl can get any more anime than that. That's true. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad it was a good outcome. This girl, who flaunted her own irresponsibility as if it were a badge of honor, had remarkable culinary talent. It was truly an unexpected development.
何か言った？
She returned from the kitchen after cleaning up the empty plates on her own. I didn't say anything. Anyway, it's getting late. I need to get to work, so I can't walk you home.
なるほど。することが済んだらさっさと帰るですか。
Stop talking like
ヒロノ
that.
くん、ちょっと怒りっぽいよね。次はもうちょっとカルシウム重視のメニューにしようかな。
You're still going to come here? Miyako stared at me intently.
美味しかったでしょ？美味しかったでしょ？ 美味しい。
Ah, fine, I admit it. It was good. It was good. I had to make her happy yet again.
でしょ？
She nodded to herself with assurance.
そう言ってもらえると作った甲斐があるよね。やっぱり一人で作って一人で食べてても張り合いがないし。
I can concur with that feeling. I have an enormous amount of fun making something nice for both me and my boyfriend compared to how it was when I was living on my own and I had to cook for myself, and I was like, sometimes I don't necessarily have to cook something fancy. I'll just like throw a sandwich together or something. Of course, she's the filtracious anime wife, chef childhood friend type. She's definitely coming over every day to make sure you stay alive. Well, actually, she's not a childhood friend here at all. It's Kay who's the childhood friend, and she's bad at cooking. I've been bamboozled, sorry, Squid. I thought about that for a moment. Come to think of it, I knew practically nothing about Miyako. But yeah, you are absolutely right. That's a trope that's overused, and you can like find like in a high percentage of anime characters that match it more or less. Right. Come to think of it, I knew practically nothing about Miyako. Not about her family, not about her friends, nothing.
どうしたの？
She's an underground crime lord.
熱でもあるのかな？
She might as well be, I guess. He doesn't know much about her, as he just admitted himself. Like, we still don't have any sort of insight into what is precisely wrong in her life, because things don't seem to be going that well, and we don't know why she doesn't want to go to school. Something must be happening there that's affecting it.
どれどれ？
Miyako brought her forehead against mine. Nothing, nothing. I quickly backed away.
ふーん、それならいいんだけどね。
She's been in your house, man. You're an accomplice for any investigation. True. Anime protagonist not as wise as you, yep. Oh, Squid. Oh no. She was fooling around at my expense. I told you I really need to get to work.
ヒロノくんはどうして少女漫画描いてるのかな？
Abrupt as always, aren't you?
答えたくないとか？
There's no real reason. Both my family and the editing department had asked me this question countless times. I was already used to it. I've been drawing it for as long as I can remember. My mind wandered to days long past. It was a room with a bunk bed and 2 desks placed side by side. A rustic fragrance wafted through the air.
お兄ちゃん、ほら、これも面白かったよ。読んで。
Everything started in that small room.
毎日毎日大変な思いをして、それでもやる価値のあること？
You'll never know if you don't try.
やってみてダメになったら？誰から見たってヒロノくんは無理が過ぎてるよ。
Until I know for sure that I'm a failure, I'll keep trying. Blindly, if I have to. Well, I can appreciate that kind of determination. I prefer when the main guy of a story is a skilled chef, like Shiro. Alright. He did make some very delicious looking food. But then again, like, Japanese food tends to look incredibly delicious to me. Like, even the simplest things, they seem nice and nutritious and pretty cool. The VN only gets real when the main high school protagonist starts flashbacking to the good old days. Alright. Guess we'll get there. I stopped myself. That's not what I meant. How should I put it?
そうじゃないじゃないでしょ
Miyako shook her head. What do you think? That it's stupid to strive for the impossible?
そんなことない
Her response was stern and direct. I had never heard this tone of voice from her before.
一生懸命っていうのはそれだけで価値があるの
Miyako managed to amaze me once again. I never thought she would respond with such determination. A thin smile appeared on her lips.
やりたいようにやればいいと思うようまくいって心の底から笑えるか失敗して痛い目に遭うかどっちに転ぶかわかんないけどそれも面白いしね
Failure wasn't interesting to me.
頑張るのもだらけるのもヒロノくんの自由だよ誰に何を言われたって好きにすればいいんじゃないかなって私は思うわけだよ
Miyako.
ヒロノくんは誰のものでもないんだから
Miyako, why were you so good at shaking my very soul? No one else could do this. I don't have time to waste on melodrama. There he is, being tsundere in his own way.
いいねそのひねくれっぷりそういうの好きだな
I turned my face away. Her bluntness and honesty were simply too much. I mean it. Go home. And for future reference, this is my workplace. You can't just barge in whenever you please. Damn it. Why did I have to keep talking to her like this? Miyako had a blank look on her face. For some reason, her gaze was fixed on the doorway behind me. Huh?
その人誰だっけ
Oh.
前にもどこかで見たことがあるような
Mm-mm. I turned my head around. In the doorway stood.
Mia.
Don't tell me Kay had planned on cooking me dinner. Both of her hands were carrying plastic bags. Her mouth bobbed open and shut like that of a goldfish.
ミヤそういえば昔はそんなあだ名をつけられたこともあったな
Me too. I remember when people called me Hirohiro. I mean, I do appreciate that their names are kind of built on the same type of schema, and they're funny on like repeating syllables like that. But I don't think Kay appreciates it in this moment. Ow. The sound of the bags hitting the floor reminded me that this was no time to be making jokes.
宮村先輩がなんでここにいるのよ
それでどうなったんですか
Ouch, ouch. This and that.
人情沙汰ですか
It didn't escalate that far. Quit being so morbid. Kay stormed off without a word. Miyako continued to pester me as if nothing had happened, then left once she was satisfied. That was all. I know Kay's a prude when it comes to this kind of stuff, but I didn't think she'd be that angry. Kay had certainly gotten the wrong idea about my relationship with Miyako. Her grandfather was the one who allowed me to use that room as my studio in the first place. I could understand why she wasn't amused last night.
話の腰を折るようで恐縮ですけど。
Then don't.
ヒロノさん、平日の真っ昼間に何してるんです？
Well, I couldn't admit that I was afraid of facing Kay. I was a man after all, so I had my pride to protect.
男の子なら女の子を怖がってちゃダメじゃないでしょうか。
Did you just read my mind?
今口に出してましたよ。気をつけた方がいいですよ。些細な一言が破滅を招くことだってあるんですから。
I get the feeling that's already happened.
嫌な予感って大抵当たるんですよね。
So it really was fun to laugh at others' misfortune. There are more important things going on in my life. Why should I let this worry me?
言っておきますが、私はシスターじゃないですし、カウンセラーでもないので。
Well, yet you're doing that.
悩みを持ちかけられても困るんですよね。
Then what are you doing in a church?
何でも何もお仕事サボって油売ってるだけですから。
She's so cute. I love her. You're a terrible maid.
ヒロノさん、いい感じに脳みそ湧いてますね。
She might have had a point. Everything in my life had become more and more worrisome. What should I be thinking about anyway? Yeah, you're right. Why should I worry? I haven't done anything. I just take my job seriously and try to keep up with school.
あ、思考停止に陥りかけてますね。若いんですから、今のうちに頭使っておかないと、そのうち後悔しますよ。
Can you stop raining on my parade?
問題を先送りにしても、どうにもなりませんよ、ヒロノさん。
Miss Amamiya was another tough nut to crack. I could never figure out who or what she was. What's with that look?
学校と仕事と夢、それから女の子のこと。全部別のことなんですよ。どれか一つに手がかかるからって、他のことをおろそかにする言い訳にはなりません。
Sorry, I have no idea what you just said.
頭悪いですね。
Shut up, you don't know anything. Was I a fool for worrying too much? Since she spoke about such serious topics, I expected her to understand it a little. Actually, why am I listening to your lectures?
年上の言うことは素直に聞くものですよ。特に私みたいな優しいお姉さんの言う言葉。そうでしょ、少年。
Kindly older sister, get real. I always wanted one. However, Miss Amamiya certainly didn't match the image I envisioned.
それに実を言うと、
Yeah? Her eyes locked onto my uniform as an evil smile contorted the corners of her lips. What the hell are you looking at?
また生意気な口を聞きますね。私ってあなたの先輩でもあるんですよ。
She almost said that with a touch of arrogance. You're an alumnus from Ottawa Collegiate?
それを言うなら OG でしょ。頭悪いだけじゃなくて、ものを知らないんですね、ヒロノさんは。
Yeesh, don't go nitpicking every little detail. Nevertheless, I never imagined we had something in common. How long has it been since you graduated?
おっと、その手には引っかかりませんよ。誘導尋問で年を聞き出そうなんて。
No, that wasn't what... Forget it. This woman was hard enough to deal with as is. There was no point in making things worse.
ヒロノさん、学校は楽しいですか？
Meh.
オトワはいい学校です。限りある学園生活、サボるのはもったいないですよ。
I told you before, I'm not skipping because I don't like school.
ああ、そうでしたね。
She seemed to have understood. Was Ottawa Collegiate really a good school? If she believed so, she must have had a fun and exciting school life.
ねえ、ヒロノさん、
Yes?
ちょっとだけ先輩風吹かせましょうか。
You do that all the time. For some reason, I felt her next lecture would be worth listening to. Perhaps I was just kidding myself, but that was the impression I had. So is this about earlier?
え、
She nodded.
大事なものは一つだけとは限りません。あなたが欲しいと思うもの、どれをなくしても後悔しますよ。
Anything else?
いいえ、それ以上は別に。
Wait, I wished she wouldn't end her sermon at such an unsettling place. This is actually animated, yes, I know. It's cool, right? I love it.
私はただ
She paused for a moment.
あなたにそのことを分かってほしいんですよ。大事なものをなくさないために何をすればいいのか。そこからはあなたが自分で考えることですから。
授業が終わり、お昼休みになった。
Alright. I want to quickly run to the bathroom, so give me just a couple minutes and I'll be right back. There we go.
クラスメートたちは机をくっつけたり、学食に向かったりで
Thank you,
騒がしい。私は別に何もしない。お昼を抜いたって午後の授業に支障はないし。いつもと同じ。こうやって窓の外を見ていれば、そのうち喧騒は去って、授業が始まり、放課後になる。毎日がそれの繰り返し。というわけでもない。だるくなったら帰っちゃうもんね、私は。だるくなったら、だるー。勉強は嫌いじゃないけど、押し付けられてやるのは好みじゃないんだよね。だから私は帰るのだ。勉強なんてやりたい時にやるよ。さすがにクラスの皆さんも慣れたもんで、私がカバンを手に出て行っても気にする様子すらない。いいことだね。いちいち気にしてたらお互い疲れるだけだもん。 髪のリボンを直しながら歩く。私は実は何にも考えてなかった。廊下の向こうから歩いてきた女の子が私を見て何とも言えない表情を浮かべた時にもまだ何にも。
あ、
確か名前はヒロノくんに聞いたはず。トントンとこめかみのあたりを叩いてみる。そうだ、進藤圭ちゃんだ。まあ特に話すこともないけどね。私は何のアクションも示さずに進藤圭ちゃんの横を通り抜けようとしたのに。
宮村先輩。
なんで声をかけてくるんだろう。何かな。それでも思わず返事をしてしまう。進藤圭ちゃんの両脇にいる友達と思わしき女の子たちが戸惑ったような顔をしてる。
少しお話ししたいんですけど、付き合っていただけますか？
だけど進藤圭ちゃんは周りなんて気にせずにまっすぐ私を見据えてくる。その話は長くなるの？
かもしれません。
なら聞きたくないな。私帰りたいんだよ。のんびりしてたらお昼休み終わっちゃうもんね。昼休みのどさくさに紛れないと先生に見つかる可能性がある。
ちょっと待ってください。どうしていきなり帰ろうとしてるんですか、先輩は。
お話ししたかったらついてきてもいいよ。学校サボってでもしなきゃいけない話ならね。結局ついてくるんだね。
Interesting that Kay would do that.
一度話しかけたら引っ込みがつかないじゃないですか。
かわいいね。あなたかわいい。そんなことまで口に出さなくていいのに。
私はただ。
それ以上何も言えず、進藤圭ちゃんは赤くなって口をつぐんでしまう。圭ちゃんはカバンも持たずに後をついてきた。生真面目な子みたいだし、多分話を終えたら学園に戻るつもりなんだろう。もしかして実は皆勤賞だったりする？今日まで。
お察しのいいことですね、宮村先輩。
お、立て直した。もったいないことしちゃったね。でもどうなんだろう。皆勤賞取ったら何か出るのかな。賞状とかボールペンとか。
そんなことはどうでもいいんです。
Who would go through all that trouble just for a pen?
大声に思わず足を止めてしまう。じゃあ何がどうでもよくないことなの？同じく立ち止まったケイちゃんに向かって私は言った。嫌味にならないように優し
Cat fight
く
time? Oh my god.
抑えた口調で。
それは。
言いたいことはなんとなくわかるけど、そっちが自分の口で言わなきゃダメだよ。
分かってますよ。
スーッとケイちゃんは深く息を吸い込んだ。
ヒロの先輩は今が大事な時期なんです。聞いてますか？あの人本当に留年の可能性もあるんですよ。成績は赤点だらけで崖っぷち。そもそも出席日数がこのままだと足りなくなるかもしれないんです。だけど今ならまだ挽回できるんですよ。きちんと勉強してきちんと授業に出れば3年生になれるんです。だからヒロの先輩をサボりに巻き込んだりしないでほしいんですよ。
お互いに損したね。
え？
ケイちゃんがきょとんとした顔になる。皆勤賞を不意にしてまでするような話じゃないよ。私もっと面白い話が聞けるかと思ってたのにな。
面白いとか つまらないとかそういう問題じゃないでしょ。ヒロノ先輩の将来のことなんですから。
あら、怒ってる。それはヒロノくんが考えることであって、私たちみたいな他人が心配したって仕方ないよ。違うかな。
他人って。
あなたとヒロノくんのことはよく知らないよ。だけどヒロノくんがどうするかを決められるのは本人だけ。そうでしょ？にっこり微笑むと、なぜかケイちゃんは顔を真っ赤にしてたじろいだ。学園に戻った方がいいよ。今からなら6時間目にも間に合うんじゃないかな。私はくるりときびすを返す。それとね、ケイちゃん。呼び方が気に食わなかったのか、ケイちゃんが眉を潜める。ケイちゃんは素直になるところを間違えてるよ。それに気づかないままだと、いつか自分を嫌いになっちゃうかもね。
She's right though.
ケイちゃんは何も反論しなかった。
She's being all like earnest and transparent and upfront with her, but in front of Hiro, she's just putting on her tsundere. Not an act, because it is part of her personality, but she's using like some sort of like wall or protection to not be vulnerable in front of him. And yeah, Miyako is right.
あなた、随分と人が悪かったんですね。
別に間違ったことは言ってないよ。どうでもいいけど、立ち聞きは趣味が悪いんじゃないかな。突然目の前に現れた女の子に私は言った。
趣味じゃないですよ。偶然聞こえちゃっただけです。
偶然？最後まで聞いてたんでしょ？どうせ。
年下の女の子をいじめてる人がいるから、あまりひどくなるようなら止めようと思っただけですよ。
この寒いのに、彼女はまるで温室にでもいるような穏やかな表情を浮かべてる。
I like her hat picker. She's not part of the option. She's there at some sort of external advisor.
いじめたくなるほどあの子のことは知らないよ。ちょっと思ったことを言ってみただけ。素直になれないばかりに取り返しがつかなくなることってあるからね。
あんな言い方じゃ伝わりませんよ。
あの子怒ってたと思う？彼女は小さく首を振った。
あっけに取られてただけでしょう。大抵の人間はあなたの前に立つとどっけを抜かれますからね。
そっか、それならよかった。うんうんと私は一人でうなずいた。それにしても相変わらず神出鬼没なんだね。それとももしかしてあなたってば迷子ちゃんなの？
迷子ちゃんはむしろあなたたちだと思いますけどね。
なんで複数形？
いえいえ、私はあなたほどあちこちブラブラしてないってことです。お仕事がありますからね。
今日は何のお仕事？
ちょっと港の方へ。畳イワシの買い付けに。
あなたって真顔でつまらない冗談言うんだよね、優子。
とか言いながら笑ってるじゃないですか、みやこ。
私たちは軽薄な笑みを向け合った。この女の子の名前は優子。学校をサボって街をうろついてた時に出会って、何度も顔を合わせるうちに会話を交わすようになった。学生じゃなくて働いてる人みたいだけど、名前以外のことはほとんど知らなかったりする。本当はもう一つ、つい最近気づいたことが。
あまり振り回したらかわいそうですよ。どうかしましたか、みやこ。
優子って。
私が何か？
優子は軽く首をかしげて私をじっと見る。優子ってお仕事してるんならお金持ってるでしょ。私お腹空いちゃった。ご飯食べさせて。
何を言いかけたのかは気になりますけど、追求してもどうせ喋らないでしょうね。
だいぶ分かってきたね、優子も。今言うことでもないし、だいたいどうでもいいことだから。私にとって優子はたまに街で会う友達でも何でもないお知り合い。それ以上の存在になることを私は望まない。
Alright. That was an interesting scene. Once again, a mountain of work demanded my attention. Since I skipped school again and already wasted precious time, I had to pick up the pace. Please God, let no one come and interrupt me today. As I prayed in my head, I began to move my pencil. My work involved multiple characters and detailed backgrounds. Drawing them properly required a considerable amount of effort. Though I had sown these seeds myself, did I really have to dig myself such a large hole? Oh shit. Why the hell were these sheets so goddamn huge? It would have been bad if they were tiny, but they could have at least made them a bit smaller. No good, no good. What was I doing to this character's face? I grabbed my eraser and rubbed out the distorted visage. This was happening to me lately. There was always a difference between what I intended to draw and what I ended up drawing. Precision was necessary, but dwelling on anything would eat up the clock. Being a professional was all about compromising. Although I understood that, I couldn't help but feel hot under the collar. Him again. Yeah? I told you before, drop the... Never mind. What do you want?
言わんでも分かっとるやろ。調子はどないやねん。
Yeah, I would be very interested to read his manga too. 8 pages this time, I think.
8ページ？お前ペース落ちる一方やん。いっぺん原稿遅れたら癖になるもんやけど、お前もかい。分かっとるやろうけど、あんまり上がらんようやったらお迎えに行くで。
A heart-to-heart talk, huh? In other words, house arrest with this old man breathing down my neck. Shut up, as long as I make it by the deadline, you have no right to bitch. Besides, pigs will fly before any of us sends you anything early.
そんなんおったら誰も苦労せんわ。そうか、喧嘩売っとるんやな。そうか、そうなんやな。おう、いつでもこうたるぞ。
Mr. Omura was definitely losing his marbles. Look, it's my responsibility, so calm down.
せやな。飯はちゃんと食うとるか。
I had natto and fried eggs today.
朝飯やないんやから、そんなんやったら力出えへんやろ。
No time, no money.
ヒロノは手早いが取れやったのに、最近は遅すぎるんも、その辺に原因があるのとちゃうか。
Going to hit me where it hurts, huh?
お前も確か次は3年になるんやったな。そろそろ考えた方がええやろな。
About what?
あ、思い出したわ。例の夏の増刊に掲載する短編のネーム進んどるんやろな。
Hey, what happened to me becoming a senior? This old man had a talent for jumping topics at the drop of a hat. Not yet.
忘れとったら最終的に困るんは俺やのうてお前や。
Yeah, yeah.
結構読者から要望あるんや。新藤凪先生の読み切りが読みたいって言うんが。
Talk about beating around the bush. They were indirectly telling me that my current serial was too boring.
ついでに言うとくけど、単行本の準備もそろそろやからな。
Really? That wasn't in my future plans. This was the first time he brought up the topic.
やらなあかんことはなんぼでもあるわ。せやから先に言うといてくれ。
I'm listening.
できんのやったらできんって。
Will you change my schedule for me if I say I can't?
世の中そないにあもないわ。
I figured as much. We talked about some other work-related matters before hanging up. Then I placed both the cell phone and pencil aside and lay on my bed. Why did I have to deal with all this while I was still in school? I was exhausted and I couldn't complain to anyone because of the non-disclosure agreement. The tandem of work and school had left me paralyzed. I was running out of time and options. No matter what choice I made, I felt like I would make a big sacrifice. But maybe she could show me options I never knew existed. The girl who lived her life without a care in the world. Forget that. I sprung to my feet. This was no time to be fantasizing. I needed to draw instead of dreaming about impossible solutions. If I was going to worry, I should be worried about my work. Both my readers and my crazy editor were waiting for me. NDA means you can't get caught can't get caught telling other people. I get you. But yeah, I think it's not necessarily just the NDA thing, because like he's mentioned it multiple times that he just doesn't want people to know. I wondered what triggered my career. Perhaps this was destiny, something I had no control over. If I had to look back for an answer, I wouldn't be able to find one.
何が答えられませんよ。
I jerked my head up in response. Kei's face was surprisingly closed.
びっくりさせないでよ。もう。
You're the one who surprised me. I yawned and reached for my cell phone to check the time. Oops. Of course I dropped it.
何やってんのよ。寝起きで力入ってないの？
The cute character on his phone. Just slipping, plopped, with its face to the floor. Kei picked up my cell phone and shoved me the screen. Morning already. Feels like I haven't slept a wink.
だから私がいるんでしょ？おはよう、お兄ちゃん。
Don't you have morning practice?
ないわよ。
What about practicing on your own?
それもお休み。だからこうして来てあげたのよ。
Kei puffed out her chest, which swelled only with pride. Slacking off now, are we? That ruins the point of practicing. She lowered her eyes.
好きで休んでるんじゃないわよ。昨日の練習でちょっと飛ばしすぎちゃって、先輩に朝練禁止を言い渡されたんだもの。今日の午後は付属校の子たちとの合同練習だし、後輩たちの前で変なところ見せられないから休んどくの。
Good luck with that.
それが最後のセリフだなんて冴えないわね。
I sometimes say it that way, and I actually mean it. Maybe I should find other ways to say it. Because I'm like, I don't know, someone says, I'm doing X thing, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, nice, good luck with that. And I mean it. But I've been told by native speakers that people only use that sarcastically, so I shouldn't say it that way. Whoops. She looked serious. Now, a break is good every once in a while. Everything in moderation. Nah?
そうなのよね。無理をし
English
ちゃうのはお
people.
兄ちゃんの影響かもしれないけど、
Well, an English
我なが
person.
ら困ったことだと思うわ。本当に手加減ができなくて。
Kei moved her fingers around as she said this. The atmosphere had become dull and gloomy again. Oh, I almost forgot. Kei-san? Maybe she was still mad at me for the other day. Armed with only my pen, I had no hope of defending myself if it came to that. Aww. I think it's a question of tone, whether or not to sound sarcastic. I know, that's the exact argument that I made. That no matter what people say, it's like in their tone, you can tell if they mean it in a sarcastic way or not. Because if I would be like, yeah, good luck with that, of course that sounds sarcastic. But if I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting, good luck with that, I'm kind of excited, but at the same time, I'm kind of expressing that, you know, I don't really know much about it, so I don't know what else to say other than encourage you, and the encouragement itself is sincere. Right? Anyway.
なんでさん付けなのよ、バカ。
Kei-san, so weird.
まだ寝ぼけてるの、兄ちゃん。今日は打撃抜きで起こしたから、まだ頭回ってないの？
Thank you, Beatrice. It's functioning, it's functioning. I responded quickly in order to avoid physical assault. Thankfully, she was easy to please.
ならさっさと準備してよ。どうせ今日も朝ごはん抜きでいいんでしょ。
Yeah, yeah, give me a minute. I pulled my arms into my shirt.
ちょっと待って、いきなり脱ぎ出さないでよ。
You want me to do it slowly for you? Her massive bag with who knows what in it flew at my head.
女の子の前でいきなり脱ぐなって言ってるのよ。
Hey, simmer down for once. What if I get a concussion? We had Kyo throwing around dictionaries in Clannad. Now we have Kay throwing her bag or anything she gets her hands on. Now I had a splitting headache.
刺激を与えれば頭良くなるかもしれないわよ。
You think you're smart, huh? We'll see who's the one talking remedial exams this year.
失礼な。数字なんてまだ3回くらいしか。
When I was your age, I only had 2.
しまった。何を正直に答えてるの私。
Kay was at her wit's end. Well, she was so athletic that a little idiocy could be forgiven. So anyway, where is this girl you mentioned? I don't see one anywhere. I braced for an attack. Huh? I thought something would come flying at me, but... Kay? She was staring at the corner of the room. It's just a joke, don't take it so seriously. I'm sorry.
いつまでも私は妹みたいなものなのよね。
Because she hadn't started saying the line immediately, I kind of assumed I had to read it, but then I looked, no wait, it's her name. What? But she was in fact, like, one to me. Was this something to be concerned about? Okay, what's wrong?
何も
She suddenly turned and glared at me.
何もないわよ。私はいつも通りよ。
If you say so. She was too easy to calculate. There wasn't even a need to use my sense of perception, which I had honed by drawing manga. The wind howled through Ottawa. Winds from the ocean normally traveled through the city, but today they were stronger than usual. Kay was walking beside me slowly, keeping her skirt in check.
何よ。
Nothing. I wasn't keeping quiet for any particular reason, but if memory served, she had absolutely refused to wear skirts in the past. She said it was to distinguish herself, but I think it was because she liked wearing pants. However, she recently began to wear skirts, even outside of school. Since when did she make this switch? I knew her better than anyone else, but I didn't have a clue. You are incredibly dense, my dude. But that's alright. You're supposed to be at your age. If you like were suddenly savvy and wise about girls' choices, then I would be a bit concerned then. Yeah. She stopped walking. There were no other students around because it was still early. Man, the sound effect of that wind is like, ugh, it's like right in my ear.
もしかして私ってうざい？
Yeah. What? Ow. That punch must have ruptured my stomach.
冗談言える状況かどうか空気くらい読みなさい。
I was only trying to be funny. I staggered about as I tried to walk off the pain.
私は真面目なんだから茶化さないで。
She is a little bit, yeah, on the too much side. It's just she also doesn't know how to handle the situation. Kind of like defaults to that. Again, yet another layer of protection that she puts up.
朝起こしに来たり学校行けってうるさかったりお兄ちゃん鬱陶しいと思ってるんじゃないの？
I've gotten used to it. It didn't bother me at all. Why are you saying this all of a sudden? That was quite a scowl.
真面目な話をしたって全然聞いてくれないじゃないお兄ちゃんは。いつ
What?
も
I'm sorry, I didn't read that. What? I'm totally serious.
いつも忙しそうで全然私の話なんか聞いてくれなくなったじゃない。お 昔はそんなんじゃなかった。
Things are different now. We're not children anymore.
それよ。
What?
どうして？お兄ちゃんは大人になるのが早すぎたわよ。ずっとなんて言わないけど、せめてもうちょっとだ
Kyo
け
was
一緒にいた
reasonably
かったの。
violent. Yes, yes. I do agree with that sentiment. We're talking, aren't we?
そういうことじゃないの？
She took a step towards me.
お兄ちゃんが漫画家になって、それにもうずっと前から遠くに感じられて、今はもう。
She trailed off. I waited for her to continue, but it seemed like she wasn't going to. Well... No, sorry, the wind is just absolutely not doing it for me. Where is the sound effects thing? Just for the scene, okay? Sorry, I can't take it. We'll put it back. Okay, you've got the wrong idea. Kay was definitely scared of losing the people close to her. That was only natural. I'm not going anywhere. You're thinking too hard.
そうね。多分そうなんだと思う。
She nodded, but didn't look entirely convinced.
一度言いたかったのよ。ただそれだけ。ごめんね。朝から変なこと言って。忘れちゃってくれると嬉しい。
Okay. I didn't want to drop it, but I also didn't want to make things any worse. She nodded, and just as we started walking...
ひろなくん、おはよう。あ、ケイちゃんも一緒だね。
I heard a voice that was all too cheerful. Man, you're showing up now?
何かまずかった？
Miyako appeared from nowhere and alternated her gaze between us. Not at all, but what should I say? You should go on ahead and not bother waiting for us.
わ、すんごい冷血っぷりだね。
Indeed I am. Kay suddenly pulled my sleeve. What are you doing? She was holding onto my sleeve like a little kid. She just shook her head. I didn't know why, but the atmosphere had turned sour. The howling wind had reduced to a deafening silence. Okay, if the howling wind is gone, then we can go back and set this here. Okay, thank you. Was I supposed to do something? Even the normally boisterous Miyako was dead silent.
なんでもない。
She pulled back her hand.
宮村先輩。
あい？
Miyako's playful response took a load off my mind.
この間はつまらない話をしてすみませんでした。
Kay bowed her head. What
つ
conversation?
まらない話？何かあったっけ？
Holding onto someone's sleeve. That has a meaning, right? It does. It's like you wanna like let them know of something, but you wish you could like convey it with just your face and your demeanor, don't have to actually spell it out. And it's also kind of like, just like he said, like what a child would do when clinging to a parent, in the sense of like reaching for safety in an unknown or uncomfortable situation. Yeah. Miyako always sounded clueless.
何かって。
Okay, calm down, no need to lose it. I whispered to her under my breath.
わかってるわよ。
That seemed to work, but she still expended the energy to stare down Miyako.
うん。今はそれでもいいんだわ。今の私なんてこんなものでしかないんだから。
Hey, what's with you lately? You've been acting real strange. Scary would have worked as well.
とっくにおかしくなってるわ。気づいてなかったのは私とお兄ちゃんだけよ。
That didn't seem like a joke. Was she trying to hint at something?
私、先に行くわ。
Sure. Kay finally smiled ever so slightly.
宮村先輩、失礼します。
じゃあね。
Kay left in a light jog.
本当に変だね、ケイちゃん。
Miyako commented as we saw Kei off. You, of all people, calling her a weirdo? Ha.
私結構普通なんだけどな。多分平野くんが思ってるよりずっとまともなのに。平野くん、考えを改める気はない？
You already blew your first impression.
チェ
She pretended to kick at the ground.
でもさ、
Yeah?
ケイちゃんだって最初から分かってたんだよね。だけど分かってるから辛いし残酷なんだよ。バカが一番いいよ。めんどくさいこと考えられないから幸せだし毎日笑っていられる。
The density of shoujo manga authors these days? What makes you say that? Quite persuasive coming from a real idiot.
容赦がないね。私にならいいけど誰にでもそういうきつい物言いしちゃダメだよ。
It's nice to see his face when he talks, because usually we don't. We just see him things like as if through his eyes. But it's cool to have him in the shot too and see his like face change with like the dynamic of the conversation. I don't know if you should be the one giving that advice.
不器用だよね。ヒロノくんも私もみんな。
She gently smiled. The breeze started to pick up again. Miyako's hair was becoming disheveled.
この風はどこから来て何を運んでいくんだろうね。
Yeah. Yep. I don't know, because like in Steins Gate you could see Ocarin quite a lot. So the person having a face and personality makes it a bit harder. I don't know if it necessarily makes it a bit harder, because I don't particularly like the protagonist being like a sort of blank canvas that I necessarily have to fill in. I would have to have them have stuff of their own, right? And they already do have it in the way their lines are phrased and the just the worldview that they put forward in the story. They do have some of their own, right? But it just seeing him and seeing his face change kind of like infuses that a little bit more. Yeah, I understand. Like, for example, Shiro from Fate Stay Night, he's definitely not a blank canvas. You do get to make choices and like navigate stuff, but he is not a blank canvas. He comes with like a very vibrant and rich character, personality, and history. Yeah. Yeah, we are all on the same wavelength here, I guess. Yep. She stared at the road ahead of her. Meanwhile, the breeze continued to brush past us. Alright. I think I will save it here. Second stream, woo! And I will leave it here for tonight. We're a little bit on the short side with the length of the stream, but yeah, I need to rest because tomorrow I'm waking up at 7 again, and it's gonna be yet another really busy full day. And we're streaming again tomorrow, so I would want to be rested properly and not. I mean, I'm already tired and yawning, even though I slept really well last night. So I don't want to know what it would be like if I didn't sleep. So yeah, I keep forgetting that I have to right click here. Where is it? Exit. There we go. Thank you. Yay! Oh, stretch. Alrighty, we've progressed quite a little bit into the story, and yeah, things are getting a bit more exciting, a bit more interesting, and I'm excited to explore even more of the characters and what the storyline brings with you. It's also interesting because, I mean, my memory is kind of... Was it sequential in the anime or was it intertwined? I think there were two stories intertwined, so you would see a little bit of one and then a little bit of the other, a little bit of one, a little bit of the other. And I was just like focused on Hiro and Miyako, and I kind of like that too, that experience. It's so amazing to be inside someone's head when that someone thinks differently. What do you mean? You mean me, or just experiencing characters in visual novels? Was it connected to that? Thanks for being here, both like you and everyone else. I appreciate you guys, and this is fun. Also, by the way, Clinton, since you're there, you mentioned last time about a possibility of things getting spicy at some point. About blank canvas protagonists. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that is very true. When they have a certain, worldview and philosophy and approach to life, it's very, very interesting to see how that was formed in the first place by exploring whatever, I don't know, sort of flashback and whatever information about their past that you pick up on, but also how that evolves and how it gets applied into the things that the character experiences. And I think you get to learn, and your mind gets to try to wrap itself around things that you wouldn't normally stop to think about. And that's how you can also have some sort of opportunity to grow yourself, or just, understand a perspective that's different than yours. You don't have to necessarily adopt it. And that's how growth happens. And I like that very much. Is the thing I like the most about exploring stories and understanding characters. Yep. So happy to be doing that together with you guys. Yes, I know. I've been so stressed out. I'm gonna drop a couple right now after stream before I go to bed. Promise. Sorry about that. I've been bad about it, but yeah, it's also because I've been stuck with work and never really switched back to my PC. So I was like, my setup was stuck on my work laptop, and yeah. And I just switched to the PC right now to stream. So I'm like, okay, I'm back on the PC. I need to do take advantage of it, and I'm gonna do that right now. Yeah. Aside from that, I hope you guys have a nice evening. For Squid, have a good day. Hope everything that you need to do today happens smoothly as possible. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Wow, I haven't had back-to-back stream days in a long time. I hope I won't be distraught tomorrow. Yeah. Once again, thanks so much for being around, and yeah, see you next time.